Well, our workshop is about international technology transfer. It is increasingly admitted among innovation scholars, among policymakers, that innovation is a key pillar of today's economy. And if we are, as African countries, as Morocco and African countries, to face the growing and enormous challenges that we are facing, if we are to succeed in facing them, we need to know how to apply new technologies to solve these challenges. And we are lucky to have a panel with very diversified profiles, from working in a way or another close to addressing closely technological issues. My first guest to this panel is Hisham Majd. He's Moroccan. He's the co-founder of LabSeed. LabSeed is a university spin-off startup company in the field of biotechnology, microelectronics. The second guest is Christophe Dercamp from BioVision. He's director of BioVision. They organize very successful, very well-known forum on technology transfer in the field of health. The third is Hisham Bouskri, CEO of Masir from Morocco, managing one of the leading research institutions in Morocco. And last but not least, Leonardo Piccinetti, the CEO of Business for Europe and other companies. He's international expert in innovation technology transfer. So, the first round, well, we will ask you to present yourself, to talk a little bit about what you are doing, and then we will move to the second round of questions. We will go deeper, asking you what are the challenges surrounding your business and how do you leave technology transfer from your point of view. So, would you be the first to start, Hisham?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, about this introduction. My name is Hisham Majd. I come originally from Morocco, from El Jadida, 100 kilometers south of Casablanca. And I did all my studies at EPFL in Switzerland, in Lausanne, in microtechnology, in nanotechnology applications. And after this, I developed a bioreactor for cell cultures with different startups. After this, I did my PhD in biophysics, interaction between materials and the body, like a human body. And after this, I developed a startup named LabSeed, which is developing a technology to reduce, to increase the integration of the implant inside of the body, like pacemaker, insulin pump, and different approach. And I'm working as a specialist for development of a new cell therapy in a company in Bern, which the name of the company is Helbling.
Thank you, Elias. Thank you all the organizers to invite me to Casablanca. It was a pleasure to come back 15 years ago after holidays, but not for the work. So I'm a researcher, I'm an immunologist, and now I am director of BioVision, the World of Life Sciences Forum. BioVision is about to speak from life sciences to sciences for life, and from scientific advances to solutions for citizens. Close to BioVision, I'm also coordinator of Big Booster, a new new accelerator program created in Lyon in 2015, and it was an international non-profit starter acceleration program between Lyon and Boston.
Thank you. Hisham Bouskri. I am the CEO of Masir. So my background is in wireless communications. I graduated from the University of Florida and Texas A&M University. Ever since coming back to Morocco, I have been involved in innovative concepts. So we started the first integrated circuit design center in Morocco, which grew to 250 strong teams. And after that, I joined Masir, which is a non-for-profit foundation created by the Ministry of Industry, initial endowment of approximately 15 million euros, conducting state-of-the-art research in biotechnology, microelectronics, and nanomaterial. So I'm heading this institution for the past year, and I'm actually quite happy to see that entrepreneurship still inspires a lot of people despite all the downsides that it has in Morocco.
Well, thank you very much, Leonardo Picciniti. But my story is very simple. I've been working in public government, design innovation policies in Italy. Been moved to Brussels. In particular, we create a company, the first company, Euro for Business, which is an innovation management company. We are mostly dealing with technology transfer related to several European projects. In particular, our experience has been done in Africa, in North Africa. We had the project from Morocco to Egypt, so for each countries. The common ground that we've been working is green technologies, in particular in water energy sectors. So we are very pushing to see where is the market, where is the research, and in particular, we've been working now in a new concept of a marketplace globally with the Network H2O Network Association, which is now involved different partners, including Moroccan partners.
Okay, thank you. Well, I will come to Hisham. Hisham is a living example of technology transfer from university to the marketplace. Hisham, can you tell us about your story and the challenges that you faced while you are building your company based on research results that were developed within a university?
I started my startup after the end of my PhD. During my PhD, we found that there is a problem in clinical trials and a problem today with implantable device which we have no solution until now. And we developed a smart approach to reduce the fibrotic reaction around this implantable device.
Can you explain a little bit more this? Because not necessarily
yes.
the people have background in the
Thank you.
health sector.
Thank you very much, Ilya. Yes, today each implantable device like breast implant, dental implant, intraocular lens, or pacemaker develop fibrotic reaction. It's like a huge fibrosis tissue around implantable device, and the tissue stop the function of this device and increase the pain of the patients. And the idea of us is to develop this technology to reduce this fibrotic reaction without a drug, only by changing the surface of the implant to reduce this fibrotic reaction by facing the cell responsible for this. It's a combination between micro nanotechnology and also biotechnology. It's by understanding more than 40 years how cells become more fibrotic.
Okay, so basically, your technology for people who have, if they need to have some implants. When you have implants, there is some immuno reaction. That's and there are some issues around this implant, and you are, by using nanotechnology, microtechnology, finding a solution to this problem, right?
Exactly.
So tell us now more about what were the challenges that you were facing when you were taking these research results into the market. Of course, in a nutshell, not.
It was a different challenge. The challenge from the market, the challenge from the university, the challenge from how we can make this new technology applied to the implant. And what we did from the beginning, we selected a laboratory between university and between engineering school and hospital university to develop a collaboration to prove the principle. We did in vitro, in vivo tests to develop the proof of the principle, which is very important. And in parallel, we try to find financing to achieve the transfer of the technology. And at the end, after some business development, some business plan development, some proof of the principle, we tried to license the technology to the big manufacturers. Our strategy was to take the technology, to have a proof of the principle, and after to license the technology to the big manufacturer, and we are in this stage of the development.
Okay, thank you. Was it easy? Was it easy to find all these resources in Switzerland context?
The entrepreneur is not easy. It's only a process of the development. We learn a lot. There is some mistake, there is some approach that we need to improve, but it's always the same. It's about the team around who is going to take the technology until one stage, which is the development of the technology. And it was during all the process of the development, we had some difficulties with financing, search of the financial for the development of the technology, but by some investors, like business angel investors, like VC, we find the solution to answer this question.
Okay. I move to Christophe. Christophe, you are basically Christophe is managing very successful forum that brings together people like Hisham with investors, with potential clients, potential customers, etc. Can you tell us how this developed in the first place, and how did you manage to become such a successful platform for technology transfer?
Thank you. Hisham has come in BioVision in 2009. So in fact, it's a really important place where we put together investor, where we put together industry group and entrepreneurship or scientific who can have some idea. Because before to be entrepreneur, we are researcher also. So it's important to think to them. So in fact, BioVision is better. BioVision and Big Booster has been created by the Foundation for University of Lyon, and one of its principles how you fail, it's the entrepreneurship. The context was that one statement, startup needs more than money. In fact, entrepreneurship needs more than money. They need also mentorship, invest meeting, marketing, legal consulting, access to new technology. So we have created, in link with French collectivity, in link with pharmaceutical group or industry group, a free program that allow this interaction. BioVision Investor Conference, where we found selected biotech, medtech, which come to pitch in front of European Investment Fund. We have also created a BioVision catalyzer, and this track was for it is for project holder with where international collaborative project holder or early stage startups pitch in front of business angel, research center direction, as well as big group to develop their project and comes to and transfer their technology.
How did you manage to get all these people in the first place and to get their trust to come to the first forum?
So it's to identify a place we have a lot of entrepreneurship. So it's to select the best project, and as well as to invite in Lyon all this community of investment. So we invite international investment fund, VC, industry representative, and we put together all these people in the good place, according, of course, all the subject of the year, because it depends of the interest of the principal financing people.
Were there any challenges that you managed to get across in this second, third version of the forum?
Yes, in fact, it's when
that you can share with the audience.
We increase our community forum by forum. We increase our community with new dispositive as Big Booster. And it's important to show to this network, the network of the fund, of the investment, the network of the private fund, that research, that entrepreneurship is moved all the time, and we had to present them new project from, of course, France, but Europe and emerging country. And we have developed a partnership with TOAS, the Academy of Science of emerging country to allow us to 25 project holders from emerging country to come in Lyon to present them their project and to create collaboration with European researchers. So I think some bridge has been created at that. We are only a tools, in fact.
Okay, thank you. Hisham, my question for you. You are at the head of quite a unique foundation for research at the cutting edge technology, nanoelectronics, electronics, biotechnology. I assume there is not strong demand in the domestic market for these technologies. And you are facing, I think, many egg and chicken program, you know? So how can we develop such technologies in the context of a developing country, and what lessons could we share with our brothers from the rest, from Africa, when you want to launch such institution?
Well, I think there has been a strategic decision by the Moroccan government and the Ministry of Industry that stem out from a conclusion that the Moroccan universities were not successful in creating a knowledge economy, and that the Moroccan companies were not able to actually give birth to many companies that operate in the knowledge economy. By construction, I would say, knowledge economy is global. So yes, you are locally here, but with the free trade agreements that Morocco has signed, you cannot count on any protection from innovation that's been done somewhere else in the world. And so a strategic thinking has been conducted by world-leading consulting cabinets. And the conclusion was that there were three main areas where Morocco still had a chance to compete in the innovation, I would say, realm. One of them is microelectronics, because Morocco was successful in attracting a few international companies in that area, and we started to build know-how in that area. But just like any foreign investment in a country, if you don't have the supporting ecosystem to benefit from this transfer of technology, then you're just kind of a hotel to this technology. People are bringing companies, they are doing stuff, re-exporting, but the rest of the country is not benefiting from this technology transfer. The other area is biotechnology, and we understand today that biotechnology is seeing some of the most radical changes of any field. So we have a few examples, but it's an area where we, as developing countries, have our own needs. We have our own needs, we have our own constraints. And unless someone addresses these needs, they will not be addressed by foreign international big pharma companies.
Can you give some concrete examples to the audience?
Yeah, so for example, we are seeing continuously that we have technologies being developed like in the point of care type of approach. So point of care, if you are in a developed country, you can count on a network of telecommunication that is functional, all the time available, with great data rates. This is not the case for our case, for our country. Another example is that you cannot count on qualified personnel to be all over the country. So developing point-of-care solutions where the need for know-how locally in a remote area is not required is specific of developing countries. Another area where we are looking into is nanomaterials. And nanomaterials hold the promise to revolutionize many areas, and one of them is renewable energy. So if nothing is done, Morocco is creating this huge program called the Moroccan Solar Program. But unless we do some own development, we will be just a market for foreign companies to come in. So where do you start? Because this is one of the main challenges because you're competing against much bigger companies. You start, first of all, by a better understanding of local constraints. So for example, Masir has developed quite a successful program in understanding the aging of materials, of solar materials in Moroccan environment. This is a unique know-how that has been developed in Masir that is useful in predicting the lifetime of these equipment on the Moroccan deserts. So one of the other areas is design to price. So for example, you could have internationally valuable innovations that solve a problem, but at much higher price point that is available to the Moroccan population. So your ability to re-engineer some solutions including reuse of existing technology to fit the demands of the Moroccan market. And obviously, Morocco is very much on the path of being a hub for the African market. So whatever is happening in Morocco, and this is something that's a strength that we rely on. So for example, when we developed the first diagnostic kits for leukemia, we partnered with a Moroccan company, a Moroccan pharmaceutical company, who already had a presence in Africa, in Senegal, in Algeria, and in other countries, which forced us to go protect our IP in these areas, which otherwise had no interest in doing on our own. Some of the other topics that are specific are our national wealth in biodiversity. So we have a very strong team in microalgae, and we've discovered that Moroccan microalgae hold promise to many solutions, to many problems, solutions to many problems. Some of them are cosmetic, some of them are pharmaceutical, but some of them are energy related, like biodiesel from Moroccan microalgae is a very interesting application we've worked on. The other aspect is, for example, Moroccan clay as a nanomaterial. So bring in this top-level, world-class knowledge from Moroccan diaspora that we have been able to attract back to take profit from Moroccan resources with the additional know-how allows us to create new opportunities. And if you allow me to talk about some of the constraints of the Moroccan market, is that we don't have the relays that these guys have. So we don't have venture capitalists who come knocking on the door because he has to do a certain amount of deals on a year. We don't have a lot of business angels. We are starting to see a burgeoning environment where these people start to show up. But in our cases, we had to go as far as creating a startup, put in a product on the market, starting getting deals before we attracted any attention. And that comes because Morocco has unfortunately had a history of failure in entrepreneurships, so that a lot of these companies lost hope in the Moroccan capabilities of developing innovative solutions by our own. So our challenge is really the challenge of making sure our system is successful, that we set an example on our capability to develop by Moroccan competences in Morocco, Moroccan solutions for the Moroccan and African market. And so this is something that has been very specific to our endeavor.
Okay, you mentioned briefly diaspora. Diaspora is considered one of the main channels of technology transfer that benefited many countries, including China and India. I visited China and Shanghai. They have like huge science parks that are dedicated to diaspora, plug and play. They even look for jobs to their wives, to that level. So my belief, it is an untapped opportunity for Morocco. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well,
and how, I mean, Masir was one way to attract this diaspora, but
yeah, the challenge really is has to be looked at from both ways. So yeah, we have to put the support network, maybe not as far as looking for jobs for wives and kindergarten for kids, but at least a support network where this person can at least feel he's supported. Because many times when some of these adventurers come back to a country, they come back to a country that is much different than the one they left. Things have evolved, some positively, some negatively. But the problem is that if they don't get into this mindset that I will be doing things differently, you can't expect VCs to be knocking at your door. You have to expect problems in getting market acceptance for your innovation. You have to accept the fact that the Moroccan market is still a developing market and not a developed market. So getting statistics about a particular market, for example, is something much more complicated. So in Europe or in the US, you can get statistics about trends and acceptance and possible. So understanding market will require you to do a lot of field work. Go to meet people and talk to people to understand their problems because, yeah, there is so much information available on the web, but that's not always the case in Morocco. On the other hand, I think the fact that the diaspora has grown accustomed to local environments, to local governments, to national policies that are there to support them. So I take the example of Hisham, who spoke before me. It's an interesting because the university provided a lot of the support he needs to become an entrepreneur. In Morocco, you will have to go and overcome many obstacles on your own before you become an entrepreneur. So diaspora coming back to Morocco is a case-by-case study. It's not a general policy. I don't think that Masir will have the ability to receive all of the Moroccan diaspora. I mean, obviously not. We're only active in a few areas. But it's something we look forward to on every specific case that we try to investigate.
Leonardo, you have an extensive experience, at least in North Africa, I know that for sure. You've been working on many projects related to capacity building in the field of innovation, research, and so on and so forth. What can you tell us as the main challenges that are facing this region in terms of technology transfer? And if you can tell a little bit more about how can we build like technology transfer system actors in this region, given your experience, and compare with some benchmark with what's happening in other countries that you are familiar with?
Well, thank you very much for the question. We should have a special seminar for this.
Yes.
Well, the three challenges that we made that we face it are very simple: skills, finance, and the networkings. In particular, networks, I'm talking about local networks in terms of governance. That's when I go back later on about these case studies. But it's very interesting to see when we talk about marketplace, adaptation of technologies, how they target groups. So for instance, in our project, we talk about 6 million euros budget project in 10 projects that we had in the MENA regions. So I'm talking about Africa, but also I'm talking about interesting case studies in Arabic world, in particular in Jordan. The issues was dealing with the skills. Now, the skills for technology transfer from us was essentially important because one of the first aspects from us was is to who is going to improve in these skills. Research managers. That was extremely important to make some specific activity to the research manager. There is no research managers in the universities, for instance. So yes. we try to make a new profession, new skill in the research center in the universities, but also how they can be working the business development managers with the companies. So, of course, money is one of the issues because we talk about private, public money. There is huge fragmentation of funding, in particular public funding, which is we try now to make that we call a funding matrix to have an opportunity what happen in Europe, outside Europe, collaboration. Just to give an example, Tunisia, we made through a European project more closely cooperation with Japan because there is a JETCA, which is the development agency JETCA. From. There was a very interesting what we do in particular in water treatment because this is one of the interesting aspects. Brokerage. It was very important to see technology offers. So when we talk about an operator, to create the first operator to support in the technologies, so the technology broker. So there was very interesting to see the networks, how the networks in Europe are works, in particular in terms of the communication. Even communication is an issue. So how we can translate this lovely publication to the investors.
But let me stop you there. You talked about brokerage.
Yeah.
I know there is the European Enterprise Network in Europe doing the same thing, but it was not really very, very successful in terms of brokers, even in Europe.
But even in Europe, there is a very bottleneck, because bear in mind that one of the major problems that we have in an Enterprise Europe network is a standard, which is, we told, the non-technology activities. So each country, they have a different approach. So for instance, France, Italy, Spain, the approach in technology transfer is different. But because we talk about also dealing with the cluster policies. So cluster as an aggregation of companies. So this is also an important aspect to consider. I want to underline one important aspect, which is from us as a lesson learned. Spend less money to coaching and training and more budget for innovation award. Innovation award.
Innovation awards.
So for young researchers in particular, what we did, even in Morocco, but also now with a new project in the Mediterranean countries, is to give an opportunities for new potential. I'm saying new potential. I didn't say new entrepreneur, because the important aspect is the motivation, is the management of the risk, is how we're going to decide to go or no go to become an entrepreneur. So this is a very important, the mentoring, an opportunity also for diaspora. What we did, we tried to help through an entrepreneur, an experienced entrepreneur come from the region, which is also help in Europe to do this. And I believe, so the three major challenges are the new skills, understanding project cycle management in this process. The skills, there will be specifically also lawyers, something specifically dealing with the communication. Also communication is a very important issue. And a third, networking and governance.
Okay, we don't have much time left, but I would like to address the fourth point. And in my point of view, the most interesting point is, but in a nutshell, please, how do you foresee, you are an entrepreneur from Switzerland. It's nice what you are doing. What is in it for African countries? How do you foresee, you can see this collaboration in technology transfer, in your case, for example, with another developing country, Morocco or another African country?
The transfer of the technology from the university to the company, to the market, it's very, very different. It depends on the market. You need to know what is the need of the market. Moroccan market, African market, or European.
For your case specifically,
for my
you
case,
foresee something?
In my startup, like in the development of my startup, it's for the market, it's world market. It's not only specific targeted market, which is the need, it's global need for all the clinical. This answer your question?
Okay.
But this is really in the case. But what is very important, as Leonardo said, there is a network, but there is a relation platform between university and the market. We need to have a close collaboration between a company like R&D or inside of the company and the university to do this transfer of the technology to the market. Because I know that there is some people here which have some project, and when we are working in the laboratory, we have some ideas like we need to develop technology. But you need to find who is going to take this technology from your laboratory to the market with you, and they need it.
Thank you, Hisham. Christophe, I know that you have a concrete example of how we can promote South-North collaboration that is win-win for both sides.
Yes. So before, I will just say that developing emerging countries interest, it's a new market for international group, it's a new market for investors. So it's important to allow them to meet African entrepreneurship, to access to this market. So Big Booster, in fact, so Big Booster, the International Accelerator Program, wants to create a bridge with StartUp Maroc. It's one example. So Big Booster, if I can give some number, it's 500 applicants, it's 7,200 startups selected, 200 mentors, 150 hours of pitches, and a lot of big partners as Capgemini, Sanofi, Schneider. And today I'm happy to be here because we have signed a partnership with StartUp Maroc and StartUp Africa, and so in this win-win to help to the transfer technology, we are proud to welcome in Lyon next year for the second edition 10 startups from which has been selected by StartUp Maroc and StartUp Africa to meet our network, to make this network our VC, business angel, and big group.
Thank you, Christophe. There is a big. We need a round of applause of that because they accept 10 startups from Morocco to support them to go to Big Booster to
go Lyon, and I hope after for the 20 best to Boston, and for the final in April 2015, perhaps share 100,000 euros.
Thank you very much. Hisham, I know you have specific idea on how to promote this. Can you expand on that?
Sure. Thanks for this opportunity, because you don't get to get that many entrepreneurs in front of you all the time. So our idea is really a concept that we call entrepreneur in residence. So as Masir has state-of-the-art platforms in biotechnology, microelectronics, and nanomaterial, we would like entrepreneurs to benefit from this platform. So we had 3 startups that were created in 2015. So one of them was done by one of diaspora Moroccan that's living in France. And we would like this example to be multiplied. We would like many entrepreneurs to come with an understanding of market need, African market needs in particular. And the rest, so the scientific solutions, the innovation, the platform to do the prototype is something that we can provide to these entrepreneurs. So we're very good at scientific and technology innovation on the Moroccan level, of course, but we are missing this link of an entrepreneur who's going to wet his shirt, as we say, bring something to the market, fight to make it successful. And so we're willing to entertain any entrepreneurs who has an idea and a need for a scientific and technology solution. So please, I'll be here all day. So I'll be interested in hearing what types of problems you have faced on the African and Moroccan market, and how Masir can help you become a successful entrepreneur by partnering with it.
Thank you, Hisham. Leonardo, your last 3 words.
I know it's not easy before lunch, but 2 concrete initiatives. First, I propose to make a collaboration with a startup Maroc and Africa. We call business idea partnership. In other words, we can offer, it's not too much money, 2,000 euros, for the most brilliant idea that can become in our office in Brussels. This is the first one. Second, that's where we already did it, is to make a collaboration in the new opportunity for research, but in particular innovation staff exchange program. I would like to have no more than researchers or young researchers. I want to see more an opportunity for future operators in innovation in any European project. This is what we can offer. So in the short term, an opportunity for next year, and an opportunity also to building together a project for the research and innovation staff exchange program.
Thank you very much. One small word from Hisham, and then we will close the session.
I want only to add only one point. There is in Switzerland technology development devices adapted to the Africa. There is 2 companies that they're developing like medical device adapted to the market of the Africa, by taking into consideration all the opportunity in Africa, and also it's not only for working, we are working on technology for the future, but we are also working on technology, how we can develop it like sterilizer for the laboratory when there is no electricity, and also devices adapted to the need of African people.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our distinguished guests. Thank you for the audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get the final word if you don't mind. Yeah. So what we decided to do is to take this huge challenge. So everyone in the room is quite hungry for lunch. So I'll be trying to catch some of your attention by showing you some of the startups that Masir had came up with. So we have 3 of our project holders who will be explaining what they have done in Masir, and I hope this will inspire some of you to join us during lunch and exchange and try to identify our next entrepreneur in residence. So I hope to see you, many of you at least, during the lunch break. Thank you very much.